the color blue, the way you be cluing. Stay awake, not woke, I'm tuned in. Your point of view too far, you need to zoom in. Ain't got no facts, you assuming. About the color blue, the way you be cluing. Have we had enough of your lies for one night? Have we felt enough of our pain to know it's real? How do you feel? Sick and tired of the lies, all I'm feeling is the pain. It's the devil in disguise while I'm standing in the rain, water pouring from the sky. But you tell me the opposite, like I don't have a consciousness, like I'm stuck in the matrix and my brain's up for the taking. But we don't do that, I know my facts. They say that he was elected, but where the stats at? They say that jab the only way to get your life back. But if you have a heart attack, then they will go to hide that. Look at the FDA acting like KKK, trying to run all our lives like we they brand new slaves. Lose the job, bent from playing segregation, all the same. They call themselves progressives, but they taking us all back again. Bring the world to darkness and sacrifice the children. Then when it's said and done, then you will never live with hope again. I say that we break the chains, we can't leave the world the same. Make love real again. As we fly above the truth, I ask of God, am I with you? I walk the path, go to the light, but still I feel that. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages from all across the world. You are now tuned into our twice weekly daytime report of what is going on in the world, news, politics, you name it. We talk about it here on the Chandler Brief, where the dress code is, of course, business casual. I want to say hey to all of our people tuning in live on YouTube, Getter, Rumble, and a few other platforms that I'm always, flipping off my mind. But we're live pretty much everywhere. So if you're seeing me right now, make sure you say hey in the chat, leave a little like or a plus if you're on Rumble, all that good stuff. As you guys know, we go live here every week on Mondays and Wednesdays at 4 p.m. And as you guys can see, it is Wednesday, June 22nd, and it is 4 p.m. on the dot. By on the dot, I mean 4:03, but that's because we've got a timer. Either way, we've got a ton of stuff we're jumping into, and Susanna Donovan is right on the nose, right on the money right there, as we're going to be jumping into some GOP senators that are really making life difficult for every American that wants to protect themselves and their family, or pretty much anything. They even say if you want to hunt, you shouldn't be able to do that. So let's check in on this. Here are the 14 GOP senators who voted to advance a quote-unquote gun safety bill. Now, of course, through all things in modern American history right now, they're trying to go with bipartisanship. They're trying to go with, well, here's how the Republicans are working with us. And of course, this gun safety bill doesn't go all that crazy, but it does advance the margin. So here's how we're going to look at it. Let's read a little bit and then figure this out, because it's not as rosy-colored glasses as they want to make it out to sound. The Senate on Tuesday broke through nearly 30 years of stalemate on gun control legislation by voting 64-34 to advance an 80-page gun safety bill, quote-unquote, to respond to the mass shootings in Buffalo, Uvalde, that left 31 people dead, including 19 school children. So, as you can see here, they write it, nearly 30 years of stalemate on gun control legislation, because we already have a legislation on guns. That is the Second Amendment. So anything above and past that, by definition, is an infringement. It's just an infringement that we've let slide, because as Joe Biden so eloquently says...
And you ain't black.
Wait, no, not that one. Hold on, let me dig in here. Is it this one?
Rub my leg down.
Oh, I got it.
I got hairy legs.
No, it's not any of those. I'll just have to go off the top of my head. No amendment is absolute. So apparently we can just ignore any one of them. So yeah, you can't yell fire in a crowded theater. You can't own a gun even to defend you and your children from whatever may be lurking out there. And you sure as heck can't say anything about Joe Biden. But that's neither here nor there. The Senate voted to proceed the bill just more than an hour after negotiators unveiled its text, giving lawmakers little time to digest its details. We just have little bits and pieces of what we're supposed to know from it. The bill had strong momentum after a group of 10 Republican senators, led by Senator John Cornyn from Texas, who had, because that ain't gonna last much longer, an A+ rating from the NRA, earlier this month, signed onto a bipartisan framework of principles with 10 Democrats. Senate Minority Leader, and he will always be that, Mitch McConnell, gave the effort another boost last week when he announced that he supported the bipartisan framework and would also support legislation based on its key points. So that gets to what Susanna said a minute ago. We need to contact Mitch McConnell, John Cornyn, Mitt Romney, and all the rhinos who are wanting to diminish our Second Amendment rights. A phone call to their office. So true. Alaskan Dream says, hey, Aaron Lovell, I'd like to see you. Says, hi, Chandler. I really appreciate your support, Aaron. I've seen you. Susanna says, it's 103 over here. What? That means you're in you're in West Coast time. Woof. I don't know how you do it, Susanna. I can't think of a single place in the West Coast I'd actually want to be, unless it's on a coast or maybe Arizona, and even some places in Arizona are on mountain time. So either way, Anita Jones says, your WP grandma is here, Chan the man. Nice to see you, Anita. I love all my surrogate grandmothers and fathers and uncles and aunties. All y'all are amazing, so big thank you. Moonshadow says, we have a lot of rhinos to dump. That is so true. That's just, that's a big one right there. Big facts right there. Shout out to all my folks over on YouTube. We're just getting kicked off here. Let's figure out what some of these quote-unquote key points are, right? Every Senate Democrat was expected to support the bill, even though it didn't include more far-reaching reforms that many of them support, such as bans on assault weapons and high-capacity magazines, as well as universal background checks. We already have background checks. There is no definition of an assault weapon, and high-capacity magazine is such a thing. The vote shakes up the politics of the gun violence debate in Congress, as many of the Republicans who voted to proceed to the bill have an A or A+ NRA rating. Here are the 14 Republicans who voted yes. Listen closely to their names. John Cornyn of the Senate Judiciary Committee, Chris Murphy, who was a Democrat last year on legislation. So John Cornyn, Mitch McConnell, Tom Tillis, Suzanne Collins, Lindsey Graham, big one to note right there, Bill Cassidy, Roy Blunt, Richard Burr, and Mitt Romney, Rob Portman, Shelley Capito, Joni Ernst, Lisa Murkowski, and Todd Young, and that's it. So if you are from Indiana, Alaska, Iowa, West Virginia, Ohio, Utah, North Carolina, Missouri, I think, Louisiana, South Carolina, Maine, North Carolina again, your senators have turned their back on you. Kentucky, Texas, one or both of your senators, as in the case of South Carolina, I believe, have turned their back on you. There's one from South Carolina, and then I think there's another from South Carolina. The Carolinas really have a problem. Yeah, so Tom Tillis from North, and one more time. Yep, and also Richard Burr. So both senators from North Carolina. Wow. Can you believe it? Both from North Carolina. And then there's only one senator from the Carolinas, and that's Tim Scott, who is not on this list. Shout out to him. Literally, 3 of the 4 senators from the Carolinas are turning their back. And you would think the Carolinas would be so good about this stuff. Really? Nancy says, never give up your guns. These tyrannical leaders have armed bodyguards protecting them. They could go pound sand. I love that phrase, pound sand. I love it when people say that. Susanna says, I'm actually in Portland, Oregon. It didn't used to be like this back in the day when I was born. Susanna, I think you've said this before, and I'll say it again. I'm so sorry. I really am so sorry. Terry says, when their seat is up, vote them out. Yes, there's actually some elections. I think primary season is either coming up right now. Let's do South Carolina primaries. I don't know which class seats are up in any of them, but South Carolina primaries actually just happened. So, knowing how things work, I'm sure they actually got, those senators got their re-up. Let's see here, just Secretary of State, United States Senators. So 2 Senate seats that were up. I think this is just the overall page, isn't it? But yeah, we'll have to see primary season. We'll probably have to wait until, 2026 until we might be able to primary some of them out. But whatever choice you got to make, don't forget, that's the one thing about, GOP, or even if you're not Republican or anything like that, they're elephant. So you gotta have the memory of an elephant. So when it comes time, next time around, put a sign up. Put your signs up. Get out there, protest. Have your posters. Put your stickers up. And most of all, make your voice heard with your vote. Because they're utilizing what you voted them in last time to do. Whether you're in South Carolina, Alaska, Louisiana, Missouri, wherever. Oh, Roy Blunt. I think that's Montana, isn't it? I was thinking Montana was MN, but that's Minnesota. So MO is Montana, isn't it? MO. And Missouri is M something. MO state. I gotta make sure I'm okay. So no, I was right. MO is Missouri. So yeah, Roy Blunt from Missouri. I was going over this again because I had a feeling it was Montana again, but no, it's Montana is, what is, somebody in the chat tell me what the abbreviation for Montana is. There's just a quick pop quiz before we move on to another piece of this. I want to read some chat messages. Aaron Lovell says Republican politicians are just Democrats at this point. Yeah, That's why, and I'm really sick and tired of it, but that's why everybody who's campaigning saying, yeah, I'm campaigning against the rhino, vote for me because I'm more Republican than them. Well, it's not the thing because everybody's sick and tired. Terry and Christopher's MT? Yeah, that sounds about right. Okay, thank you, everybody. You see, this is like a class. Class, tell me what is the state abbreviation for Montana. Everybody's in the chat like, MT? 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 Give yourselves a pat on the back. Round of applause. Y'all are so smart. We got the think tank up in here. We got a bunch of free thinkers. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? No, but seriously, it's a class here. Class act, truly. Speaking of class act, somebody who's been called a rhino many times, but right now is appearing to not be falling under that definition, is Senator from Florida, Marco Rubio, who is actually one of the few Republicans who voted against advancing the bipartisan gun safety bill, which passed 64-34. He's been trending on Twitter right now because, well, obviously, if he's not going to fall in line and be one of our favorite, one of the good ones, as they'd say it, one of the good Republicans who's going to vote with Democrats on whatever they want them to vote them on, well, he's got to have his name trend. So as you can see, Brooklyn Dad Defiant, who is so important, he has a blue check mark, but me having a billboard plaque doesn't qualify me. Either way, he tweeted out, Val Demings can beat Marco Rubio, pass it on, and I assume that's the general election opponent for Marco Rubio this November. Jack Cucuriella. Cucuriella? I know he's another young person. I think he's part of the March for Our Lives or something like. He's a Gen Z activist with Florida Democrat and him, and I think he's gay or something. He's got the rainbow flag. Okay, he's got 200,000 followers because Democrats really love promoting their younger counterparts. Senate Democrats posted Senators Ron Johnson and Marco Rubio voted to block advancing bipartisan gun safety legislation, choosing to stand with their gun lobby donors instead of taking action to help save lives. Their self-serving, do-nothing politics has no place in the U.S. Senate. We don't need to do anything, at least not insofar as gun rights. We could go at other routes, like maybe investigations into these people that appear on lists. I don't know. I guess we're not supposed to talk about that. Florida could do better than Ron DeSantis, Marco Rubio, and Rick Scott, and we will, posts Nikki Fried, who is one of the Florida gubernatorial candidates running in the primary to then go forward into the general to replace Ron DeSantis. Will it happen?
Nope.
Do these people have any chance?
Nope.
Are we all going to laugh when they lose?
Yep.
And we're going to be touching on one of these gubernatorial candidates real soon, and by touching I mean not touching, because formal gubernatorial candidates, I should say. I don't want to touch this guy, but we'll talk about that in a second. One last thing I want to do on this part of the subject. Suzanne, everybody's talking about my tie in the chat. Susanna says, love Chandler's tie. Aaron says, love the tie, Chandler. Look, it's Brooklyn Dad, the walking L. Yeah. You know what dad I like a whole lot more than Brooklyn Dad Defiant? My guy, Dare Dad, in the chat. I don't know if he's here today. He's out there in Australia time, and I think it's really early over there right now, but yeah. Val is our gal. Vote blue in 22. These people are desperate. Anyways, Hillary Clinton was proud to jump on the bandwagon, not about the Senate thing, but about another Republican who's deciding to be more bipartisan. And by bipartisan, not really collaborating on anything, just capitulating to what they want. And that is Speaker of the House in Arizona, the Speaker of the Arizona State House, Rusty Bowers, who appeared before the January 6th committee and told all about how he felt pressured to overturn the 2020 election. Hillary Clinton says, if you watch nothing else from the latest January 6th hearing, watch Republican official Rusty Bowers explain why he chose his country, his oath, and the truth over Donald Trump. And this comes after Cap Action, says Arizona House Speaker Rusty Bowers, a Republican, testifies about a phone call from Rudy Giuliani and the former president after the election.
On multiple.
So let me rewind this and give you guys a nice idea of what people are talking about.
During that conversation, did you will ask Mr. Giuliani for proof of these allegations of fraud that he was making?
On multiple occasions, yes.
And when you asked him for evidence of this fraud, what did he say?
He said that they did have proof, and I asked him, do you have names? For example, we have 200,000 illegal immigrants, some large number, 5,000 or 6,000 dead people, etc. And I said, do you have their names? Yes. Will you give them to me? Yes. The president interrupted and said, give the man what he needs, Rudy. He said, I will. And that happened on at least 2 occasions, that interchange in the conversation.
So Mr. Giuliani was claiming in the call that there were hundreds of thousands of undocumented people and thousands of dead people who had purportedly voted in the election?
Yes.
And you asked him for evidence of that?
I did.
And did you ever receive from him that evidence either during the call, after the call, or to this day?
Never.
So there's the point of him going after it, and of course everybody's posting these around. He's continuing to speak. He's got more clips out there. This is why we need term limits. Okay. I don't know why you're talking about that. It's true, but hey. So everybody's upset about this, although some Democrats are very, very happy about this, as he's been praised by Hillary Clinton, which I'm sure after him seeing this is going to be like, oh gosh. Shamika says, how about we just watch nothing else from January 6th? Doesn't sound that too far-fetched to me. But Rusty Bowers is one of many who are appearing in this committee, and one of a few who seem to be more in support of, well, what the committee's doing, and against President Trump. Although Rusty Bowers made it clear if he were to go up against Biden again, he would vote for Trump, but I'm sure Trump would not be happy to hear what Rusty has been up to as of recent. Moonshadow says, I wouldn't give him crap either. Yeah, there you go. Bingley says, crappy news network CNN. I didn't have the choice. Susanna says, bipartisan sucks. No, it doesn't always suck, but it needs to be actually pushing towards something good and not restricting rights. Why does it feels like every single time we see a bipartisan effort to push things, it's all for the restriction of your personal rights? I don't understand this. Every time we're pushing back to actually enhance your rights, like, for instance, the abortion thing, which as much people are like, it's taking away our right to bodily autonomy, it is enhancing your right to live, because at one point you were a baby that was unborn. It is enhancing your right, among others, that are unborn to live. It is enhancing your rights. Well, suddenly it's a Nazi thing, and it's one uniparty and all this. We get all this mess and nothing good about it. It's crazy. It's crazy to see. Pingley says, I got my shirt from your site and I love it, Chandler. Thanks. Yeah, I saw you post about that in the comments yesterday. If you have any social media, post it up and I would love to repost you. I'm trying to get that shirt out there. It is a really hilarious thing. But speaking of really hilarious things, before we move on to the next subject we have, because oh, is it good? I have to play for you guys this hilarious thing that I was just sent from our good friend, Terrence K. Williams. Well, I don't know why there's two Corinne Jean-Pierres on this image. Do you guys know why? Let's take a look.
The formula. So first, what is the latest update the White House has received on the current infant formula situation across the country?
Yeah, let me see if I have anything new for you on that. So I think it's been a couple of days since we have been asked that question.
He's struggling. It's been a couple of days. Crickets, crickets, crickets,
Okay.
crickets. We're waiting.
I don't have anything new.
Oh my.
What you got, Terrence? This is gonna be good.
Oh my goodness. How you the press secretary and don't got nothing to say to the press? These people don't know what they doing, don't know what they talking about, don't know what they. So what plans do y'all have? Let me see real quick. Hold on, let me find the plan. So what had happened? You know what? Yeah.
Yeah. I'll have to circle back.
Well, we don't have no plans right now. What kind of answer is that?
I think we can all be very proud of Terrence Williams, who has clearly transitioned, and he is actually now the press secretary. So big thank you to Corinne Jean-Pierre for everything she's done, but obviously Terrence Williams will do the job so much faster than she will, because she took a minute there flipping through the papers. Let me see here. He's like, I'm gonna give it to you straight. Look, what had happened was we ain't got no formula. You ain't gonna go to Walgreens. You ain't gonna go to Kroger. You ain't gonna get no formula. You're gonna have to go back home, look in the back of your cabinet. I know you got a little emergency formula back there. You're gonna have to mix it with some baking soda like this. With the baking soda, flip it with the wrist. And then that's what you're gonna serve your baby. He's gonna give it to you straight. Because we're in a bad situation here. You might as well be as honest as possible. Terry Williams. Good one, Aaron.
And I'm not just laughing at that. I'm laughing at the fact that I look just like her.
Well, as Hillary Clinton, I can't even verify that quote, so I'm not going to say it. But either way, we do know she has hot sauce in her pockets. We have a ton more we're going to be jumping into today, so you guys don't turn the dial anywhere. If you're watching me on a dial, I don't know how you're doing it. But we'll be right back after these brief messages. Hey freethinkers, Chandler here, and welcome to the brand new one-of-a-kind commercial break. Here on the Chandler Crump channel, we pride ourselves on straight-talking nature, adherence to facts, resistance to media programming, and a loyalty to the red, white, and blue, above all. These live shows are what I consider to be my job, and I only get paid on tips around here. So if you think I've done a good job or want to encourage me to do even better, then check out the description of this video and go to donorbox.org/support-Chandler. This is our donation processor and the one-stop shop to support all things Chandler. If you choose to, you can even have your name appear on stream to flaunt that you support our show. This is of course the illustrious Hall of Heroes bar above me. Another path to the Hall of Heroes is of course Cash App. My Cash App code is $ChandlerCR and is visible on every one of my streams. Thank you guys so much. Now, let's get back to the show. You guys heard it first from me. If you want to support the show and gain access to all sorts of cool content and more, all your options are available in the description below. I want to give a shout out to our current Hall of Heroes members, Mark Cook and Zora B, longtime supporters and viewers of the channel. Really love them. If you want to join the Hall of Heroes and knock Zora out of her spot, of course, I appreciate all of y'all. All your options are available down there, as well as Cash App right over there. I want to give a big shout out to our folks over on Rumble. Alvin Fleet, he says, "Hey Chandler," and on Gitter, I can't say that person's name on Gitter. It's a curse word, but he says Congress doesn't earn the pay. So shout out to you over on Gitter, although you should definitely get a better name. Definitely get a better name so I can actually shout you out on live. And Moon Shadow says thumbs up. If you guys haven't already, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. We're at 31 likes right now, so let's see if we can get our way up to 50 likes before the show is over today. As you guys know, we do this live show every week on Mondays and Wednesdays at 4, in addition to our shows on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8, of which we'll be back again tomorrow at 8. But before that, we have to jump into what is happening right now. And it is some pretty great stuff. Joe Biden, Joe Biden, Joe Biden. Yes, of course, that one.
And you ain't black.
And what's the other one?
Go, you know the thing.
Is that guy our president?
Nope.
All right, I hear you. No, but seriously, he is talking about how Republicans cannot blame him for the gas prices, but also be against Putin's invasion of Ukraine. Now, I've read this tweet a few times, and I think I'm struggling to understand it. I'm sure Joe Biden is struggling to understand even what he said. But, okay, Biden suggests that Republicans cannot let's just watch it and hear what he has to say right from the horse's mouth, shall we?
Knowing full well the cost. So for all those Republicans in Congress criticizing me today for high gas prices in America, are you now saying we were wrong to support Ukraine?
Yes, I think we've been saying that for a while. I mean, like maybe Republicans in Congress might be like, we need to support Ukraine, but I'm sure I know a good amount of Republicans here that are, they're going to put their Ukraine flag up in their bio, maybe be like, yeah, I stand with the people. It's a bad thing. But dang, our situation's pretty dang bad too.
Are you saying we were wrong to stand up to Putin? Are you saying that we would rather have lower gas prices in America and Putin's iron fist in Europe? I don't believe that.
So what he's implying is that, as per the, I guess, the acceptable, idea, Putin is the one responsible for the gas prices. It's the Putin price hike. Meanwhile, it is 7-Eleven in America. And in fact, I want to show you guys this. Once again, we showed it on our show just yesterday, where the price for gas is 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven was not supposed to be about the gas prices. It was supposed to be like 7-Eleven, oh thank heaven. We've got a place where you can get hot dogs and gas at the same place. Isn't that great? 7-Eleven, oh thank heaven. Not 7-Eleven, or if you want a discount on your gas, maybe click your heels together 3 times and maybe get a discount. No. So we know who did that, and of course we have the Biden meme. I gotta show it to you guys one more time. It was hilarious yesterday.
You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. I'm not joking.
How long ago was this? I'm so curious. When did Joe Biden slight Indian accent? I'm still curious as to when he said this. Was he actually? Oh my gosh. Let's see here. Before to explain is you cannot go to a. So it was in 2008 when he was running for president. So here's the Blaze classic video from them. Yeah, I'm just so curious.
Manish, how are you, man? Well, good to see you. As you know, I got a lot of support from you.
No. I remember I watched this video before, and it was so bad. During the 2008 presidential campaign, Joe Biden, who was running for president, encounters a reporter of Indian heritage, as you can so clearly see apparently, and he was able to see, and he proceeds to generalize about who was operating 7-Eleven's convenience stores and Dunkin' Donuts shops in Delaware. So he sees an Indian reporter, and the first thing he thinks to say is, wow, well, you can't go to a 7-Eleven without an Indian accent. This guy, I don't know, man. And then in the 2020 presidential cycle, he said,
And you ain't black.
and he was elected both times in 2008 as vice president and in 2020 as president of the United States. Make that make sense to me. Make that make sense to me.
Rub my leg down.
He said that in the 2020 presidential cycle too. This one as well.
Go, you know the thing.
All within the last 4 years, he said those words.
And you ain't black.
Whatever, folks. Whatever. I wanted to show you guys that with the whole thing about the gas prices. Because Joe Biden does not take any responsibility for his actions. So it's about time we do it for him. Y'all already know where I'm going. Bingley was just talking about it. The gas prices, sir, they're flying off the shelves. They truly are, just like the baby formula. But we've got a lot more shirts than baby formula, I'm sure of it. So if you want to pick up your very own gas prices shirt, you could do so in the comments or in the description below. I just dropped the link to it right in our comments. Come on, guys. Look at this. The sticker. I did that. Come on now. I mean, if he's not going to take responsibility for it, we have to be happy warriors in the streets doing it for him. We could do it. We could do it. I think we can do it. Anyways, man, it just gets worse and worse as not only are President Biden and his administration pushing for it, but even the chair of the Fed is talking about how bad things are. Senator from Tennessee asks, would you say that the war in Ukraine is the primary driver of inflation in America? The chair of the Fed says no, inflation was high before, certainly before the war in Ukraine broke out. Maybe dropping just a nugget of truth. I don't know. What's going on? The Absolute Zero, Kill Kami, nice to see you. Nancy says cheating doesn't count. Susanna says, my car is broken right now. Can't afford to fix or buy gas. Been using Instacart and walking to the store. Jeez. People are hurting. It shows you how bad the situation is. Meanwhile, the chair of the Fed doesn't have much to say about it. Let's hear it. Let's hear it, shall we?
Pal, I realize there are a number of factors that play a role in the historic inflation that we're experiencing. Supply chain disruptions, regulations that constrain supply. We've got rising inflation expectations and excessive fiscal spending. But the problem hasn't sprung out of nowhere. And in January of 2021, inflation was at 1.4%. By December of 2021, it had risen to 7%, a five-fold increase. Now, since the war in Ukraine began in late February, the rate of inflation has risen incrementally, another 1.6%, to a current level of 8.6%. So again, from 7% to 8.6%. Given how inflation has escalated over the past 18 months, would you say that the war in Ukraine is the primary driver of inflation in America?
No, inflation was high before, certainly before the war in Ukraine broke out.
I'm glad to hear you say that. The Biden administration seems to be intent on deflecting blame, and as recently as just this past Sunday, spread the misinformation that Putin's invasion of Ukraine is the, quote, biggest single driver of inflation. I'm glad you agree with me that that is not the truth.
Stop the cap. Ooh, I like this guy. I like this guy. This is what a good senator is. We didn't see his name anywhere near on that list of turncoats. In fact, we'll check one last time. Our Tennessee, what was his name again? It was, wrong story. Bill Hagerty. We don't see him anywhere near voting against our right to guns. In fact, I'm sure he is within that list of 34 senators that voted against that dumb bill that is going to push against your rights. No, this is a good senator. And he's out there in Capitol Hill interviewing or hearing from the Fed chair and getting the facts straight down to business. That is how you do it. Can I get a round of applause? Yep. That's how you do it. We need more senators like this guy and less like leaky Lindsey Graham, who is always leaking himself onto a different path and not a great one. Or just minority leader but majority failure, Mitch McConnell. We all know who he is. This is what we need to do. We need to hammer in the facts right on to who needs to hear it. And that's the American people. And we are using their own people to do it. We're using the Fed chair to be like, no, inflation was high before. Inflation and gas prices are linked. The economy is all one sphere. And the more we cut at one part, and the more you draw blood from here and try to put it over here, the less healthy our economy is going to be. When you stopped the drilling, you ceased all the oil permits like Joe Biden did in his first week, and we saw gas prices shoot themselves on up. Well, who can we blame? Well, not Putin, because it was an entire year. in between when the gas prices were rising. But Joe Biden didn't care anything about it, nor the inflation. In fact, he was celebrating about the 16 cents we're saving at the barbecue on July of 2021 for Independence Day. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. I have one last story for you guys to check into that is, oh man, it is bound to drive a little bit of pain for each and every one of you. I'm sure of it. Andrew Gillum, who I'm sure you guys all love and adore so much. Andrew Gillum was your most favorite gubernatorial candidate in 2018 against Ron DeSantis. Oh man, y'all are gonna have to hear this. Andrew Gillum, who is DeSantis' opponent, has been indicted for wire fraud and false statements. Up to 21 counts.
Yep.
That has gotta hurt. I could hit the oof button 21 times and it would still pale in comparison to how much it's probably hurting Andrew Gillum. Gillum, who is the once rising Florida Democratic star who narrowly lost the 2018 gubernatorial to Ron DeSantis, was hit with a 21 count federal indictment. One more time. 21 count indictment. Wednesday for wire fraud, related conspiracy charges, and making false statements. Gillum, who is the former mayor of Tallahassee, was charged along with his mentor Sharon Letman Hicks for fraudulently fundraising from various entities between 2016 and 19. According to a DOJ press release, the Justice Department said the two allegedly diverted some of the money to a company controlled by Hicks, who fraudulently disguised the funds as payroll payments to Gillum. In a written statement, Gillum and his lawyers proclaimed his innocence. Hicks, a candidate for a state house seat, has not returned texts or calls from NBC. I have spent the last 20 years of my life in public service and continue to fight for the people, said Gillum. Every campaign I've run has been done with integrity. Make no mistake that this case is not legal, it is political. Throughout my career, I have always stood up for the people of Florida and have spoken truth to power. There's been a target on my back ever since I was the mayor of Tallahassee. They found nothing then, and I have full confidence that my legal team will prove my innocence now. I don't need to grace your guys' eyes with the presence of the disgusting images that were released of Andrew Gillum in 2019, but I can tell you that man is not clean in any way, shape, and form, and he's in a precarious predicament. This is emblematic of many Florida Democrats who flounder for power and may sometimes even get close, but will always fall from grace. This is what we need to represent going forward in 2022, 2024, 6, 8, 30, and beyond, as we get even closer and closer to making this nation a more perfect union. But that's your Chandler Brief today. As I wrap it up in a nice little bow for you, I want to thank everybody who's tuned in with us here on YouTube, Rumble, Getter, all my folks. Shout out to Terry Quintanilla on Facebook, Agar Khan, Susanna Donovan, Bingley, all my folks in here. Susanna says, Andrew Gillum in trouble? Couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
Stop the cap.
That's a good one. Gillum is going to jail. I think that one's, Gillum going to jail. That's like a triple alliteration, or at least really close to triple, G and J. Either way, I want to give a big thank you. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in with us this afternoon. As you guys know, we do this live show 4 days a week, at 4 p.m. on Mondays and Wednesdays, and at 8 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So if you want to never miss out on any episode of our show, make sure you subscribe to our channel with notifications. Join us over on Telegram and or Truth Social. In fact, I'll show you how to sign up for either or both right now just by going on your browser of choice and you type in t.me/realc, CRUMP, and you'll see our Telegram channel here. I'll drop that link for you guys on all platforms in our chat. And then also feel free to follow me over on Truth Social. Once you get all signed in and signed up, you can just follow me at Chandler on Truth Social. You'll be able to find my account because it looks just like this. Aside from all that, though, I want to give, once again, another huge shout out to everybody who's on here. If you or a loved one has copped one of our He Did That shirts, feel free to post about it on social media, and I would be more than happy to repost you on mine. Thank you guys so much for being tuned in. And aside from all that, I'll catch you next time, free thinkers. Don't forget to spread the virus of intelligence. Peace.